The outline of philosophy of the Upanyas chapter. The place of Upanyas is a history of philosophy, almost contemplating with a remarkable period of active philosophy and religious through the world over the 60th century. When Pythagoras, Confucius, Buddha, and Zoroaster were thinking out of new philosophies and inaugurating a great religion, there was taking place in the land of India a quiet movement which was excised in continuous influence upon the entire subsequent philosophy, so that the country which has been making itself felt into the West. Aryan invaders of the Hinduism, after having conquered the territory and gained an undisputed foothold, betook themselves in the consideration of mighty problem, which thrust themselves upon very serious, thoughtful person. The problem of the meaning of life and the world and the great unseen power that cast about aside for explanation. This we find example Sveta Vatara Upanyas. What is the cause? What is Brahma? Where are we born? Where do we live? And what are we established? Overruled by whom? In pain and pleasure? Do we live in our various conditions, O ye theologians? The childlike manner, like a clearly Greek cosmologist, they accepted now one thing and now another as a primary material of one, which is the whole world is made. Yet again, like the early Greek philosophy and also the subtle and directness of the childlike insight, they disconcern the underlying unity of all being. Out of the pretending intention there, early Indian thinkers elaborate a system of fantasism which has proved over fascinating in their descendants. If there is one intellectual tenet which is explicitly and implicitly which held in the people of India, furnishing a fundamental presupposition of all the thinking, it is a doctrine of Patharism, beginning of all prevailing form of theories were recorded in the Upanyas in the ancient document are found earlier serious attempts in construing the world experience in the rational world. Furthermore, there have continued with generally accepted authoritative statements which very unsubsequent orthodox philosophical formulation which has shown in itself into the accord, or at least now the discord. Even the materialistic Karvakas who denied the Vedas in the future life was almost a very sacred doctrine of orthodox Brahmanas. Avowed respect of Upanyas that interested later epitome of Vedanta, the Vedanta Shara, showing that the Karvakas and the adherents of Buddhist theories, also the reticulatic Purva Minmasha and other logical Nyaya appeal in the Upanyas in the support of their varying theories. Even the dualistic Sankhya philosophies claim to be find scripture authority in the Upanyas. For the orthodox Vedanta, the various of Upanyas, which is Badaranya Vedanta Sutra and Shankara commentary, them they have been a very fixed book. Not only they have been historic importance in the past development of philosophy in India, but they are the present day influence. For every Indian Brahmin today is Upanyas were what the New Testament is to the Christian. Max Muller calls attention to the fact there were more new editions published in the Upanyas and Shankara in India than the Descartes and Spinoza in Europe. Especially now, the admitted inadequacy of existing degraded from the popular Hinduism, and educated Hindus are turned to the old scriptures and finding there where which they which they confident in stake against a claim of superiority of foreign religions and philosophy. It is noteworthy a significant movement indicates the reforming of the Samajas, the modern times in arguing by one of the first to prepare the English translation of Upanyas, Ram Mohan Rai, expected to restore Hinduism in the pristine purity and superiority through res- resuscitating the Upanyatic philosophy, which infused certain electric element They're also being taken into the exploits of certain class, which is found to be a rich reward and attractive field of operation, the mysticism and the crudity of India. Having hope of opening as the world scripture, there is say the scripture appealing the lovers of the religion, and truth is all raised all the time without distinction. The theosophitics have been endured in making them available for their convicts. Not only the Upanyas thus furnished the regard philosophy of India from the date of present time and proved fascinating mystic outside India, but their philosophy presents many interesting parallels and contrasts to elaborate philosophy and Western learn. And the Western philosophy students of philosophy as well as a literary historian felt that expressed the importance of Upanyas. In the case of Arthur Schopenhauer, the chief modern fantasist the West, the philosophy is mistakable transferred into doctrine explored in the Upanyas. The fact might be surmised from the oft quote eulogy, that is, Anquitil du Peron, Latin translation, Persian regarding Upanyas. It's the most rewarding and the most relevant reading this expect the original text. It can be possible, that can be possible in the world. It has been solace in my life and will be my death. Professor Dusen, a professor of philosophy in the University of Kiel, Germany, has always regarded through his study of Vedanta philosophy as a reward itself, apart from satisfying contribution to largely to the understanding of his teaching. For the Upanyas has found Parmenides, Plato, and Kant in the nutshell, and the Living India in 1893 in address before the Bombay branch of Royal Asiatic Society, he gave his parting advice. The Vedanta is an unfalsified form of strong support of pure morality. The great conclusion, in consolation in the suffering of life and death, Indian keeps to it. Professor Roy of Harvard University deemed that philosophy of opinion sufficiently important to export the Guilford Lecture before the University of Aberdeen. It introduced some original translation, especially made by the colleagues of Professor Landman. In East and West, Upanyas has made and will make the influence felt. A broad survey of the fact with hardly sustain the final opinion expressed by the Aragon, the arbitrary and legendary doctrine, that is to say that which has sponged upon individuals' popular imagination such as Upanyas resemble a gallery of portraits whose originals have long since been dead. They have no more than history and comparative value. The principal interest in which the supplying important elements of study of human mind. Historical and comparative value of Upanyas undoubtedly have, but they are also a great present day importance. No one can truly understand the working and conclusion of a mind of educated Hindu of today who does not know something of a fountain from which his ancestors for centuries past have drunk and from which they have been deriving its intelligent life. Imaginary under which the philosophy is conceived and phraseology which is coached and the analogies by which it is supported by large sum of discussion today are found in the Upanyas and in the Shankara commentaries on them on the Sutras. Furthermore, although some elements are evidently the local interest and past value, the evidence that is pantheism of Upanyas have extracted and will continue to quote, the influence of pantheism of the West, for they contain certain elements of penetrate deeply into the truth, which every philosophy must reach a true grounded explanation of experience, and intelligent and sympathetic discrimination of elements with constitute a philosophical work of first importance and preliminary step is that to mass of unorganized material contain Upanyas has been culled and saline ideas have arranged in the following outline.